Well, hello there again, friends. Today is 6/22/2022, and today is the Odin Project Day 124. And I'm on sub item number 3 highlighted there. Write the simple form elements. So that is what I went over. So we'll hit the editor and check it out. So like I said, today was all about today's video is going to be all about setting up the elements, getting the form set up, and I successfully got it set up inside the modal, so I was pretty pumped about that. With a submit, a reset button, and a DOM area to toggle or to display success messages when we get there. So let me make this a little bit bigger so you could see it. So I apologize about yesterday's video. I realized after I was reviewing it that I forgot to zoom in on the code, so it was probably hard to read. So I have a pretty tight resolution on my monitor, so here we are. We got it zoomed in again as usual, so it'll be easier to see. So here we go. So we had the span last time, so the expansion today is this right here. So I have a form ID, form, and I have labels, inputs, nothing new that we haven't seen before inside the form for email, country, zip code, password, and confirm password. So this is going off of my pseudocode and the little basically UI I drew out on paper, and so I was just putting this to pen to page to text editor, so to speak. Obviously, can be subject to change, but right now this is working the way it's visually the way I'd like it right now, and it's working well. So I'm gonna leave it for now. So you have required on the email, required on the text for country, and required on the zip code input, and also required on the password confirmation. Yeah, so that gets you your 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 fields. I will say I did look into. I went down a small rabbit hole on the country input, because in my head, and I didn't end up doing this, but in my head I was thinking, with it being a free-flowing text box, you could type in anything you want. So we may have a challenge, or I may have a challenge writing validation APIs for the country. I started doing drop downs. I did selection and drop downs like we've done in previous exercises and projects, but I quickly realized I'm not going to sit there and type in every single country in the world. So I started Googling, and long story short, I found a couple modules, npm and others, that do country drop downs. However, they're very involved. I thought it would be something simple like just pointing it to an href. There is one that does do that, but then I was thinking, well, maybe do I really want to do that? Because if they ever take down their CDN, essentially my program breaks, and for sustainability and possibly showing future employers and not having broken stuff at randomly, it probably isn't a good idea to point to a CDN. So there was another one I found that it was an npm build that stored everything locally, but there was a ton of JavaScript with it, and it would definitely became a monster out of scope type issue for this particular project. So for right now, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to take it. For right now, I'm just leaving it as a text. Probably will revisit it if I get stuck, or if I'm having a hard time writing constraint validation API against it, but we'll see. So that's sitting like that there, just as text. Pardon me. And then I have a submit button and a reset button down here with a class of submit and reset. And then down here I have a div called class of DOM message, and this is for down the road when we want to write out a message to the user saying successfully submitted. That's where this is going to go. Obviously it's not there right now, but we're just placeholdering it. So going into the style sheet, the only thing on the modal I changed is just to make it a little sexier. I added a box shadow 5 pixel, 5 pixel, 5 pixels black, which, as you are aware, creates that shadowing effect on the I think 3 of the corners. No, 2 of the corners of the div, or of the outside of the border of that element. So that is there. You'll see that in the browser. Just gives it a little 3D effect. And then I added these 3 down here. So there's the form selector, and it has a display of grid and width of 90%. I kind of kept with the theme of the modal as far as percentages as best I could. So basically, this creates a grid on the form, which is the form the form section of the form section of the inside the modal. And then its width is 90%, basically because I need to make room for the small x to exit out of the page so it wasn't bleeding over. So I set a stack 90%. And then the input is margin bottom 10 pixels. This is the this is all of the inputs here, each and every one of them, all 5 of them. So what this is doing is adding margin on the bottom of 10 pixels just to add a little bit of separation so it wasn't all jammed together. Sorry, there's more than 3. Been busy with this. There's a submit button and a reset button that basically, now that I look at it, I probably could combine them. They're the same exact. Alright, yeah. 40, 40. Why don't I just do that while I got you live here? So, submit and reset has a margin top of 20 pixels, a border radius of 10. That's the rounding of the edges of the button. And box shadow, just like we explained already, and width 40%, meaning we're going to make it 40% width of its available take-up space around it of its parent. So what I'm going to do here is I should be able to just do this because we don't need to repeat ourselves. Let's do dry code here. Don't repeat yourself. So let's just see if this works. It should. Okay, and just for fun for right now, we'll comment that out. Save it. Okay, so reset button should do that. And I have a DOM message here. To do, I have a to-do I put for myself, remove border before project is done. This is just so I can see it. And so that's why I put the blue 1 pixel border in there, just so I can visually see and remember that that's there, and I have to write JavaScript around that to display the message inside the box. Excuse me. It has a width of 90%. Same as the form, so it's going to take up the same amount of width as the form itself. Height of 50 pixels. This just gives it a little bit of height defined, and then a margin top of 20 pixels for, again, some more separation away from the buttons, so it just looks a little bit better. I usually don't go through styling with you guys, as you know, on here, because it just doesn't really make sense when you just read it. It's easier to see it in the browser. But I had the tab open, so I figured, what the heck. No JavaScript changes for this time. Like I said, I was just focusing on the styling and getting the elements in play here. So make sure we save all, okay, and head out to the page. Open the form, and so there you go. So yeah, two edges, two borders get the box shadow. So I have box shadow around the modal, and I have box shadow around the buttons. And there's the div for the message in the future. The buttons don't do anything yet, but there is challenges because I have the required field in there, and that's why it's challenging and saying please fill out this field. We will change that here probably in the next video when I start writing out the constraint validation API calls for this. But anyway, yes, we have the email and some autofilled junk there. Left the form. Email, country, zip code, password, confirm password, and then the X still works to get out of the modal. Clicking off gets out of the modal as well. Maybe not the best thing to have a modal. I mean, it looks sexy like this, but you know, if somebody's filling this out, honestly, if they accidentally click on the outside, it would suck to lose the form. I'll have to see if persistence stays. I don't know how that works with modals. I would assume it stays in there since these aren't DOMs. These are hard-coded in. So, well, we could just try it once. Let's just see if we put some dummy data in here. Does it stay? Ah, it does. Cool. What about if we close out? Cool. It does. Okay. I guess that's not a big deal. If it becomes a thing where it's a UI issue, I probably will just shut off. I'll probably just comment out the code where we have in JavaScript here where it has the window click event for hiding the modal. Maybe I'll comment that out. We'll see. So I know that my CSS is working that we just made the live change with. Otherwise, my submit and reset forms would not look like this. So yeah. So I'll be able to remove them or remove the commented code out here. Let's do it live with you. Looks like it's working just fine. Save that. Refresh. Cool. I don't have any errors. Nope, we're good to go. No errors. Spectre looks good. Cool. So yeah, there's that. Keeping it short and sweet today. So in the next video, I will probably start with email at the top for the form and start adding in my validation checks. 'Cause I think at this point I've gotten the UI pretty sexy and the way I want it. I mean, yeah, it can always be prettier. I will add CSS as I go along to change the background to red when they're in the field when there's a error, stuff like that. The CSS error portion along with the JavaScript. But I'll kind of do that line by line or in tandem. So I think I'll probably get email working correctly, add the CSS for error changes, error validation checking, whatever I'm trying to say. You know what I mean. And then when I get email working fully, I'll go on to country, zip code, yada yada. And I think country, like I was talking about earlier, I may run into a problem with this one. So I may end up going back and redoing country. But we'll see, because right now it's just a free-flowing text box. So I may end up going out and getting a module for drop-downs, but we'll see. So far, I didn't really particularly like what I seen out there. I was hoping there would just be something simple and quick, because I don't want to bloat this. I don't want to make this project really long since it's not officially a project. And at the same time, I also don't want to scope out this project past what it's really intended for, which is, writing constraints, so to validate your forms. So that is all for today. So thanks for coming along the journey with me today. I hope you learned something along the way. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content, and let me know in the comments section how you guys are doing. So with all that said, till next time, see ya.